So today we have Siddhant Shinde here, who's been my coach since I started playing basketball, and he's an India level player. He's played for India, which is I think one of the biggest honors ever. So thank you for being here, and I hope a lot of athletes learn from this experience.
Thank you, Ojas. Thank you so much for having me here. And this is a podcast, right? This is for the first time I'm doing a podcast. I've never done it before. So I'm not nervous at all. But thank you for having me over. And I think I can pass on whatever little I've learned from basketball to the younger generation, because I think they need it the most at this point of time.
That's the point, because you have so much experience and you've learned so. I've learned everything I have learned about basketball is literally from you. Since the first day I trained with you.
Right.
So I'm very grateful for that, and thank you for coming.
Yes, sure. And do you still remember what I had made you done for the first couple of months and 3 months?
3 months I didn't enter the court. I was just doing ball handling and some drills, shooting drills, but not with the rim, like form and everything.
Exactly.
And mainly ball handling.
So do you think that helped you out?
A lot. And just watching seniors play. Like there used to be like a senior game every day.
Visualize and
I used to just watch them play.
Yeah.
All my seniors used to play sometimes. Watching them doing my ball handling.
But of course you have it from your parents as well. Your parents are also great basketball players. Like they have a legendary status in the state and in the country. So you have it from them also.
A bit, I would say, but I think it was very important, because then when I started playing, I already knew how to handle the ball. Yeah. Because otherwise, if you start just playing directly, and more importantly, you made me watch, and it's like watch and learn. So I was watching, I was looking at people who are older than me. I was getting motivated to do what they were doing, try the moves.
But mostly, when you had come, you were like pretty much like a raw material. Yeah, like you had the strength and everything, and like what it takes to be an athlete. Yeah. You had the mental part, you had the physical abilities as well. But basketball being a technical game, then you have to learn that. So that was the only concept I think I had to imbibe in you. Otherwise, you had those basic qualities of being an athlete.
Yeah. Okay. So my first question would be, so I've heard a lot of stories of you when you were younger. You used to live very far away from where you played in Deccan. Right. The courts were in Deccan. And I've heard how you in the morning you used to take a bus, you used to come to train. Then in the evening you used to do it again. A long journey, 1 hour, one way, I think, like change buses. At a young age, what made you work like that? At 13, no, even younger, 11, 12, 13, when you were doing these things?
Yeah, so to start with, like I was from St. Mary's School. I did my schooling in St. Mary's. So there, during an assembly, I had seen our basketball team had won a district championship and they were getting felicitated. Mm-hmm. So everybody's starting to clap and everybody's cheering for them, and the principal is also like clapping, and the teachers and stuff. So that was the time it struck me that I want to do something like this. Even I want to be noticed and appreciated the way they are. So my basketball journey started from there. And then later on, when I made it to the school team, I have no Michael Jordan stories or stuff like that I was cut from the school team and all. Yeah. I was not cut. They had picked me for the first time. And so my basketball journey started there from school. But then it was quite basic there. So Mr. Chopade sir, Arun Chopade sir was my first coach who taught me how to hold a ball. But as you know, like in India, there are some issues that schools face regarding studies, academics, and also playing sports.
The balance.
So there is not much encouragement for sports, and St. Mary's, like is academic oriented.
Yeah, very.
So that's why then I saw Ajinkya play, and my mother saw Ajinkya Mehta play. Yeah. So then she asked, my mother asked his mother, like where does he train and what does he do, and so that is how I was introduced to Deccan Gymkhana.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful to be a part of Deccan Gymkhana now. Yeah. And I've lots to learn from so many good senior players. Like it's a hub. Yeah. Lot of skill, advanced type of coaching, and the tiniest stuff. Like even you must have noticed it and experienced it, that whenever we play a game also in Deccan Gymkhana, it is like so intense, and they might hit you, they might abuse you or get physical and whatever it is, but later on they tell you the small minute details it makes a lot of difference. So, and I used to stay in Hadapsar, so it was around 14 kilometers.
Yeah.
Means of transport were not that great that time,
Yeah,
and I had to travel. I had to commute by bus. I had to change 2 buses at that time, so I had to come to Swargate first, get down there, change my bus, and then come. And there were many a times when I didn't even used to get a seat while coming or while going back after practice. I used to just stand and come. And the buses were quite few and the distance were quite long, so that's why there were a lot of rush and people. Sometimes like I used to be hanging with half my bag outside. Yeah. So that is in India because our population is quite a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had this motivation, I had this drive from before only. And more than that, I enjoyed, playing basketball. I made friends and I enjoyed and I liked coming to Deccan and learn. And so more than at that point of time, when you're 13 and 12 and 11, you don't have that sense of focus and I want to become this and that. And it should be pretty natural by that age, I guess. Like it is not imbibed as of now in India, this culture, but otherwise in some countries like China and US and all, like these qualities like focus and what you need to be and what it takes to be is imbibed at the age of like around 9-10 years old. So then they have an idea and by 13 they are at that peak level of focus. So they start it quite young. Like it is not something like that in India. So at that time it wasn't focus or anything for me, but it was fun. I enjoyed playing basketball.
It was the love for the sport.
Yeah, love, like passionate love for the sport. I used to come and I used to love it playing on Deccan Gymkhana. So that was my journey, which you might call it like struggle or focus or something. No, but no, I would call it like it was my love. I was growing fonder with the game of basketball.
And the next question is, how did you continue that for so many years? Like same consistency, same focus. When I started training, you were, I think, I would say at the peak of your career. When I just came to Deccan, I used to see you train. And even today, if you train, you still train the same way. So how do you keep that going?
So what happened is, like I told you, like the love for the game was there. And then later on, as you grow and you go to around your youth age, like 15, 16 years old, then that time I had this, I had seen a lot of basketball also happening. I was playing nationals, I was representing my state. But then I had this goal in mind that I want to play for my country. And once you in your mind gets invested in the sport, then this mental focus and toughness and everything gets into place. Till that time your mind might be just wandering around here and there and you're just playing and enjoying and physically getting better. But at 15-16 then I took it seriously and I was like, no, if you have to go and then we have a lot of seniors also, like I had my coach Mr. Shashank Risbud, I had Shantanu Pawar sir, I had your dad and Nandu sir and quite a lot of coaches. Paresh sir was there, so there were a lot of good people channelizing and guiding me during that time. Like everyone must be having some different thoughts and different process of training, how one should train and how one should focus and how one should balance life and everything. So I was very fortunate to have those people around me, which helped me and then shape my mental toughness. And one thing I learned is from Arjun Shewale, because he was my mentor during that time. I used to train with him. So he was quite senior and this not giving up mentality I got from him.
I've seen even right now when he plays at 45, when he's 45, when he plays,
he's
for every ball.
Aggressive. He won't. He'll put his body on the line and he'll be playing like crazy, not thinking about. So I train the same way and I play also the same way till now, because for me it was all basketball. All my life, what I've got today, whatever I am stably financial and I have a family and I'm well respected or anything, everything I've got through basketball. The recognition and everything. So that's why I'm very passionate about that. So if I'm into it, I'm totally into it. So that's how it made me work longer and longer and had that. Thankfully I wasn't, touch wood, I wasn't injured also quite severely ever.
But that's because you maintained your body, no?
Yeah, but that depends with luck also, right? I believe that depends with luck.
There's a bit of luck there.
Of course, it takes a second, I think, to get injured. Like even the best peak shape athletes also get injured, right?
Yeah.
So maybe my style of play is also a bit different. Like I'm not that, like back then also I was not as explosive as someone like you or some other athletes who are quite explosive in their game and stuff. My game style was a bit skill oriented, I guess.
Very slow, very
Effective.
skillful, effective. Yeah,
So I wasn't that kind of a player who would be. I was more like a Chris Paul type of a player.
Exactly. Yeah.
So because of that also I had that longevity, and I still have that feeling and belief that whenever I step on the court or I do any kind of fitness, it has to have that mental toughness and seriousness.
I like that mentality, and I think I've cultivated it from you and from my parents. Like whatever you do 100% or you don't do it.
Right,
That's
because that doesn't make sense otherwise, doing something.
Why would you do
I have experienced that also, like keeping I was playing cricket also back then. I was playing basketball also, and I sucked at both at that point of time, because I was trying to balance and find something in between. So it was not fun at all, and then managing studies also. So it was quite bad doing all those three things. So I think that you choose one or two things and do that with your 100% dedication. I think it will get you somewhere.
Okay. And the next question would be, what's in your whole professional career of playing? We'll come to coaching later, but in your professional career of playing, what's the biggest challenge you faced or the biggest struggle you had?
I had quite a few struggles when I played. The main struggle was I was not cracking it to the Indian team.
Really?
Yeah.
But you finally made it.
Yeah, I did, but it took quite a long time. I thought I should have played much earlier for the country, because during age groups and all, also in the youth category, in under 16 and under 18 junior category, Maharashtra had a pretty good team during that time, and we used to always finish in the top 6. So being in the top 6, I think one or two
and
players
you were the
also.
Best in Maharashtra.
Yeah, like I had my late friend Akshay Bhosle also. He passed away, but he was also quite good, very talented player. Not hardworking, but quite talented.
He is talented, very talented.
Pure raw talent. Like if there was 10% of hard work what I did, if he did that, he would have been on a different planet altogether. But anyways, so one or two people at least should have got selected during that time. So I wasn't cracking that Indian team. I wanted to play. That was the ultimate goal and dream I had. Because in India there were not many professional leagues during that time, or there wasn't any financial securities other than a government job or something like that. So this was my ultimate goal, like playing for the country, and it was taking quite a long time. So I was struggling at point of time, when you start realizing, when you're done with your education and everything and you're just about to complete your graduation. So there were a lot of negative feedback I got from my relatives. Of my cousin brother, someone is doing engineering, someone is pursuing law.
So typical in India.
Yeah, and someone is being a doctor. And when I used to be asked that question, so I used to be ashamed during that time. I used to feel like really bad, and I used to sulk and sit down alone thinking about like, what am I really going to do playing basketball.
I mean, at your time, I don't think it was even considered that basketball could be a profession. Now there's at least a bit more hope for people in India, but at that time it was
not at all. It was quite tough that time. And then my cousins also, like my aunties and everyone, used to tell my mother that like, how many days are you going to let him play, and what are you going to do? I lost my father when I was quite young. So I was in like 10th grade when I lost him. But then since then it was just my mother. She's my superhero. So but to her also there used to be such a negative feedback of like, they were right in their place at this point of time. Today if you ask me, that they cared about me, that's why they were worried about me and my mother. So that's why I think they were right at their end. But there was a lot of negative feedback regarding like, what is he going to do? He's doing nothing. Basketball is not going to get him anywhere in life.
That even today.
Yeah.
So I can imagine at that time.
Sorry.
But
So these three struggles I had, like, and I had to figure them out pretty quickly. So there was a point of time when I was like, I was 21, 22. I played India when I was 24.
Yeah. Right when I started playing basketball, I
Yeah,
think.
24,
My first year.
2015.
Because, so for me, it was like you played straight up, but I didn't know that before this, you were struggling so much to play.
Right, so you thought
For me, it was like I played my first year at Deccan, and that same year you went for the India selection.
So you were my lucky charm, I guess.
Maybe.
So yeah, 2015 I played first. So, but then those in 2010, 10 and 11, I had my teammates and all from Deccan Gymkhana also who used to participate with me during those times in the Maharashtra team and all. So, but then in the seniors, then Maharashtra state gets in the lower half.
Yeah.
So once we are in the lower half, it becomes quite difficult, and I had this negative feedback again from, which was kind of a reality also. Like people used to tell that playing senior India is not going to be possible and something like that. So that was a time then I thought that I should switch. I should stop playing basketball, get into some business. I had like weird random thoughts like, what do I do for business? Should I start a shop of eateries, and should I start an alcohol shop or something like that? Yeah, I had like these random ideas coming into my mind. Should I join a call center for work and earn my livelihood? So all these struggles were like quite tough for me. But then later on, eventually everything like fell into place, and today I work in the GST and Customs department.
Through basketball, right?
Through basketball, yeah.
Exactly.
And I get time for training, I get time for practice,
For your family.
and I like it, yeah.
Okay. Now, so coming from that, straight up, how was the feeling of when you finally played for India, and how did it feel? Because that's what you just spoke about.
So I'd like to share, when there was a struggle also to your question, which was before. There was it is a part of the question you're asking me right now.
Yeah.
So when I went for the Indian camp, I had my call up. So Mr. Scott Fleming saw me play in Rajasthan, Bhilwara.
Yeah.
And whenever I've seen in India, there are foreign coaches.
Yeah.
They tend to, their selection criteria and everything is quite different. They select players according to their positions.
Yeah.
And how they can contribute to a team.
Yeah.
So Mr. Scott picked me up for the camp. So at that time there was a system of having 24 for the camp. Then in the second camp we had 20, and in the last camp we had 16.
Okay.
So there used to be 3 camps. So for the first camp there were 24 of us, and then I was pretty nervous because first time.
Best
Then
24
they
in
were
the
all
country.
big names there who you look upon and who you see of playing in the nationals and stuff like that. Like there was Vishesh, there was Pratham Singh, and there was Amrit Pal and Amjot and everyone, and then you are like little bit lost, when I went to the camp. But then later on when I started practicing, and then I had this killer mindset because of Arjun.
Yeah.
Like I used to trust my skills so much that I can compete at any level. I trusted myself so much. So, but once I started playing with them, then I was like, this is pretty normal. Yeah, they are also athletes like us.
Yeah.
They also train like me, eat like me, and I'm playing with them today. So it took like a week to normalize with them. And but then later on, once I had got cut from the South Asian Basketball Association team.
Yeah.
So there was a Sabah championship before the ABC. So I had got cut there. I made it to the top 16.
And then you got cut.
And I got cut there.
Ah, okay.
And that feeling was really bad, And
You were so
then
close.
there was so much of anxiety for the second camp.
You got called again for the second camp?
Yeah, second camp, because I was in the 16.
Ah, okay.
So till the last camp, there are those 16 people who will be there in camp.
Yeah.
So the second camp, when I went there, and I was like so nervous, like even the smallest thing, like scoring a free throw also had a second thought.
Yeah.
Scoring a layup, going for a layup had second thoughts.
Yeah.
I used to
Takes a hit on you.
Yeah, and in the room I used to be silent and not talk to my roommate, and not move around much, and it was very disturbing, the second camp for me. I used to be nervous and jittery, and I don't know how to explain that, but because of that feeling that I'm so close of my dream, and if I go back from here without achieving it, that I would be sulking with this all my life.
The fear.
And would I be getting an opportunity again?
Like a one-time thing, you thought of it.
Yeah.
As a one-time thing. Yeah.
And my mother being a single mother, I didn't want to put her into this stress.
Yeah, of course.
So I had no one to talk to.
Yeah.
Not even my friends or anything.
Yeah.
So it was just in me. That was kind of a struggle for me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But then later on, I was lucky also playing for the country, because this Sabah championship happened, and later on everybody started leaving home, because before the second camp there was I think a 10-day window where the camp had to be continued after the Sabah matches, because the matches were happening in Bangalore, India.
Okay.
So there was a 10-day camp after that. So I was attending the camp, but the players who were out of the 12 players who had played slowly started making up reasons and
Missing
going
the
home,
camps.
running away from the camp.
Yeah.
And one fine day, like 2-3 days, we were just going, the 4 of us, for practice, and we were just practicing, doing our thing.
With the coach or just you guys?
The coach had left. There was the assistant coach only.
Coach was there. Okay. Yeah.
So the assistant coach used to make us do something. We used to do that. Just the 4 of us.
Okay.
And then the president came one day, BFI, and he saw and he's like, where is everyone, and not for the camp and stuff like that. And that is when the South Asian Basketball Championship for 3x3 was to be happen and get selected. And I don't know what came to the president's mind. The president said, no, these 4 people are going. I don't care who. I don't care about their positions. If they play on the same position also, I don't care. But these 4 people are going there. Then once I had that letter in my hand, that time was relief. More than being happy, I was relieved.
Yeah, the nervousness.
The nervousness before, and also, like, you have this big pillars of burden on yourself carrying for so many years that I want to, and then when you reach that and when you have that, it's like you zone out.
You're calm.
Everything is happy, and everything just went quiet for me at that point of time.
Yeah.
Like I was like relieved of all the pressures of whether I'll make it, not make it, whether I'll achieve my dream, and I was happy also. And then when I got my jersey for the first time, that time I cried.
Yeah, I can imagine the India jersey experience.
Yeah,
it's my dream also one day.
Yeah, and you know, I know, I trust you will achieve it. But you're in Spain now, you're doing pro basketball. I think you had made it to the camp also, right?
I made it to the camp, but I had to go for my season, and there was no tournaments coming up, so I chose to go back for my professional season in Spain. If there was any tournaments coming up, I would have stayed for sure.
Of course, yes, but I really believe that you and your friend also, Yash Mane, both of you all have potential, and I think that you were and him were the only 2 guys who I felt like could make it to the Indian team.
Yeah. So hopefully one day, my goal is still, I mean, it's one of my goals for sure. I would be so happy.
Yeah,
and it's my parents' goal for me also.
It is an athlete's utmost goal, you know.
To play for the country.
Whether you play pro or do whatever you want, make a lot of money, but playing for your country, no athlete would miss that opportunity. No one. Not even LeBron James, not even Steph Curry. You see them, they lost at the World Cups and there was a big row in the world and all, and today everybody national duties and participating in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So that was when I held my jersey for the first time. That was the time I cried. I felt happy, but I felt proud of myself also. I felt like, okay, finally, good job.
But you also ended up playing the 5-on-5, right? You won the 5-on-5 team also,
after that we won the Sabah championship.
Yeah, you won the 3-on-3.
3x3, in Sri Lanka. We had lost the first game though.
Yeah.
So we lost the first game to Sri Lanka Red. And we thought we were out of the tournament because 3x3 was quite new at that time, the format. And we thought we were out and we are going to go back home.
Yeah.
But then they told us the top 2 teams from the pool qualify. So at the end we met Sri Lanka Red at the final again. And we beat them. And then we qualified for the World Tour, which was supposed to happen in Beijing. So then there I got a reality check of what basketball is.
All the
best athletes, best 3x3 athletes, like, you know, Dusan Bullet
from
Serbia.
Serbia.
He was back then the former number one.
Right?
Yeah, Dusan. So Dusan and Masterovic, he plays right now also for the Serbian team. 3x3, tall guy,
long beard.
That guy. So they were playing together back then. So they were athletes like that. And that time I was like, whoa.
This is what it is.
Yeah, this is what it takes, and this is the level of athletes there are in the world.
But I think in India you don't have that exposure, or you didn't have that exposure yet, and even today you don't. To, let's say, skills training or the mentality side of it. I think everything makes up players like that.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything bad about my country. Like, I love my country and all, but honestly and technically speaking, like, I think we are still far away, like around 10 to 15 years from basketball.
Me too, I love my country, but it's the truth, you know.
Yeah, the facts are facts, you know. I think we are 10 to 15 years behind regarding basketball technical aspects, like the mental part.
Yeah.
And you know, after a point of time, I think we have the skill level and all. I think athletes, we have the stuff also, like physical abilities and all. A lot of Asian countries are also doing well. Like Iran is doing well, Iraq is doing well, Lebanon, China,
China's always
Japan. Japan also, they qualified for the Olympics, they're playing good. Yeah. So if these countries can do it, then why can't we do it?
That's also the question I have.
The problem is the mental aspect. And the exposure, like you said.
Infrastructure and exposure.
Once you start going out and you see, like I told you, like playing with Vishesh and Pratham and Amjot and Amrit, it was a psych thing for me before actually playing with them. Once I started playing with them, then that fear and then that it got structured. It takes time to gel with it. So, for example, I don't want to mix the other sport into this, but you see cricket is so, like, it has money and everything, I agree to it, but in India it is so well structured. It has a structure of playing from the district level to, even we have a structure, but then again they have the professional league of playing in the IPL. So imagine, like, you playing with the best players in the world and sharing rooms with them, sharing the their space of what they do, how they train, how they build themselves, what their life outside cricket is and all.
It's like influence.
So so back then, you know, someone from the IPL coming and hitting a 6 on the first ball was quite difficult, you know. They didn't have that mentality. But now, since they play them, so they have that mentality when they go for international. So that's why India is doing quite well. Like, we might be losing some crucial games in the cricket thing, but I think if you see it on a broader aspect, like the number of games we win and we dominate, I think it is because of the good structure.
And we're the best in the world, I would say.
And people believe that I have played this guy in the nets. I can smash him for a first ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have the fear of playing.
Confidence.
Because you've been put into that situation. So I think that is what is needed in our country. Like, for athletes, the younger ones, the youth and the younger ones, to be put into that exposure.
But like you said, I think we have the skills for sure. It's just the little things, the exposure, the confidence that matters.
Right.
On that note, you played, there was UBA that came to India, and you were one of the best players in the UBA. You played for, I think, how many seasons?
4 seasons.
4 seasons. It was here for 4 seasons. You played all 4 seasons. How was that experience for you? Because I would say that's the highest professional level.
I think I played 3 seasons. I had missed the first one.
Because you were
I was in the
camp.
So I played 3
seasons. But I mean, it was insane. I used to watch you play because I came for the last season. It was in Pune, in Balewadi, and it was really professional. it was, I would say, very professional, very well made. So how was that experience for you playing a professional league like that?
Yeah, so playing the professional league was a first timer for us. And you can get money out of basketball. That was a big thing during that time. And people were also like, oh yeah, this is actually professional basketball. And they taught us, like, you know, for the first time when you're getting money or you're getting paid to play, was a different thing. And then waiting in good hotels and having the best facilities, and also it was something new. So a lot of people got carried away with it because for everyone it was quite new.
You need to stay focused.
Yeah. But then like I told you, we had our coaches and we had our mentors and all. So they had seen these things probably in their life before. So they used to keep us grounded, and then they used to tell us that this is what you need to do. This is the basic needs what a professional athlete gets. You might not be getting it here, but this is what you get here.
Normally, if you play professionally.
Yeah, professional. So then that also took like a normalizing process for us.
But you were dominating in the last 2 seasons that I watched.
Yeah, and then for me it was like even if I play for my club team like Deccan Gymkhana, I'd give it my all.
Yeah, it's the mentality.
Yeah, that's my mentality. Like, of course, if I'm winning like 20-30 points, that's a different thing. But when I enter the court, it's about like everything, giving it all.
Yeah.
And I have had that mentality that changed with a certain period of time when I started playing professionally, because then people are watching you. So that time, I had that I had achieved all my dreams, playing for the country, playing professional basketball, earning money out of it, having a good life balance. I got married also that time to Kehali, and I had her with me, and so everything was sorted. So then you need some motivation, like for me, it is all about having some kind of a motivation to do something, going and moving around. So that time then I figured out, no, I will play for that one person who is watching me outside. Let be one person in the whole stadium or whole arena. There is that one person who I can inspire to pick up a ball and play.
It's probably me.
But so I love that feeling. So that's why then I have to give my best every time to perform. And to let that child inside feel if this guy can do it, why can't I do it? And then for him picking up a ball and starting to play the sport, that is my biggest win. So I found that very motivating, and I liked it like during professional basketball.
That was a switch when you had already achieved all your goals. There was a switch you made.
Yes. But professional basketball, it was new to us. It taught us a lot of things, like me also. Like actual meaning of professionalism, how to maintain yourself, how to keep yourself, how to stay mentally focused during a season.
Your
because
image. I mean,
we are used to playing like 4-5 games, right, in a tournament. That is it, which takes around 6-7 days to finish a tournament.
And then that's it.
And then playing a professional league, if you're playing like 10 games in maybe around 14-20 days, 10 games. So every alternate day you're having a game. And then managing your body and keeping your performance high, because 2-3 games first I was like playing and performing and everything was happening good. But later on in the 4th game I was gassed out. 4th game I was lost. There is where you learn professionalism, how to manage your body.
The Indian mentality of work, which I got from a lot of people, like watching everyone like just train hard. But it's because in Deccan we don't have seasons, we have tournaments. And I went to Spain, and the first year we have I think 30 games in the whole year. So almost every weekend we play. And I was playing, and the first half I was doing very well. But on the side I was killing myself so much. I was training 6 hours every day, even on Saturdays when we played on a Sunday. And I killed by the time it was time to play the game, I was so gassed out. And then I also learned this, you can't have that one just put your head down and work. You need like a balance. You need to also do recovery, and you need to make sure you're training enough, but not killing yourself that in the game. That's what you're training for. Where you're dead. That's something I learned the hard way. Even today, it's so hard for me to just sit down and have a rest day.
I know it is very tough for athletes. When I was your age also, and now also, sometimes when I'm coming to the ground and I see someone else work, that builds fire in me. I feel like, oh damn, I want to work. I will show this guy like what hard work is, and I want to compete with him and work out there and show him. Like you have that urge, right? I know. You don't feel like resting at all. That is a thing which athletes need to learn. And trust me, professional basketball teaches you that.
I mean, I learned it the hard way. I twisted my ankle. I was getting injured more because I was killing myself. Then I had to sit down and tell myself, it's not like, if I want to actually play professionally at a good level, I can't be doing this. Even today, it's hard for me.
That's how professional basketball is played, and that's how people learn. there will be a lot of people telling you the right things. They might be great things, but till you don't experience it, you don't value what others say
exactly.
at a certain age. Like I've seen you grow from you were like 12, 13 years old to where you are now. You've certainly matured a lot, like the kid I knew Ojas being, and now where you are. So your maturity level is quite higher than what you are right now, your age, and you worked on it for yourself. But till you experience it, nobody's suggestions really matter.
Until you get hit.
And you learn.
Until
and that is the best way to learn then. Then you
true.
can control yourself of, like you're saying, resting, and because you've learned it, you've experienced it. Like I'm sure, like even I used to tell you the same thing, your parents used to tell you the same thing, but that time you were like, no, I need to work out, I need to do this and that.
Even Sundays I used to train.
Correct. And then when you experience it yourself, so right now also it's tough for you, but you learned it.
I know that I have to.
Yeah.
Now the switch you had from player to coach, or at the same time you were a player and a coach, how was it? And how was the switch? I would say now you're more focused on coaching also than just playing. So how do you balance it, and how do you...
So coaching, I liked like coaching back then. Like I did it for my financial reasons, to be honest, during that time, because I wasn't at a job anywhere and I had to take care of my basketball expenses. I didn't want to put that. Sometimes, when you grow like 18, 19 years old, and then still you're taking money from home, and then being a single parent, your mother is doing that. So I used to be ashamed, of those things. So then I started like for financial purposes, but then I started finding interest in it, coaching.
I mean, when I got to playing, you were already coaching for a few years, right? Like 5-6 years probably.
I think 2015, I started coaching in 2012, I guess, 11. I think 3 to 4 years, I had already been coaching.
So by that time you knew like you're very good at it, because everyone who is coached under you says you're very good at it.
Not good, even I had to learn it the hard way. I had to deal with athletes, the mentality is like how to conduct a practice session and stuff. First, basically, it was just about what I had learned from my coaches and all. So the trainings used to be according to that. The skill work, everything. So it was kind of, that used to be in the practice sessions. And then putting a team together, how to put a team together, 12 different heads. Some head wanders here and there. Your game, that one person might cost you the game. So managing them, keeping them together, all these things I had to learn it slow and steadily. And then how to put up a practice session, how to not overwork the kids, how to keep them engaged as well, how to keep them interested in the game. And so many things like I had to learn during coaching, and it was fun, for me, because it was something learning. And it used to revise myself also. So when I was playing also at that point of time professionally, so it used to be like a revision kind of a thing when you study, like, this has to be done this way, this has to be done this way. So I enjoyed coaching, and then from then on I had good athletes also. I had your batch was a great batch, I think 2002, 2003
was the
we had Om, you, Yash, 1, 2, 3 Raju and all. And then there was Bruno's batch also. That one was a good batch. So like 3-4 batches I had like quite good quality players.
You have fun.
And then I had done my level 1 coaching also in the same year which I played international. Before going for the camp, I did my level 1 coaching.
But I must say, like, as a player, it was very motivating that my coach also played at the same time, because I could see you put in the work. So it was like, it's like lead by example. So when I saw you at 4 p.m, we had trainings at 6. So at 4 to 6 used to be training. I was like, oh shit, like if he can do it, I want to be like him, And I think a lot of players see that. If you're playing and coaching, it's like inspiring, is what I think.
Right. So in the coaching also, the FIBA coaching level 1 which happened, so there was this coach Nelson Isley. He also used to tell us the same thing, that there are two kinds of people who can like you can have your idol as.
Yeah.
One is probably Stephen Curry, LeBron James.
Yeah.
They might be your idol, but at the back of your mind, okay, being LeBron James and
so
Stephen Curry is far away, and it's closely highly impossible to do that.
Yeah.
That is what that is the belief you have in your head.
Yeah.
But realistic goals, like you said, realistic idols. You watch Siddhant Shinde do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not quite tall, somehow managing 6 feet.
Yeah.
Wearing shoes.
Yeah.
And then he doing it.
Yeah.
He can do it. Then so those realistic idols are a must.
Yeah.
And also in coaching, he was saying that the kids watch and learn more.
Yeah.
You might tell them on a board, or you might tell them like oral conversation of do this, do that, but actually demonstrating the drills in front of them and making them do, they watch and learn, and that is the best way to learn.
Yeah, you always did that.
Yeah, and so I used to do the drills with y'all.
You used to train with us.
Yeah,
basically.
with y'all.
Yeah.
So I used to get my conditioning done as well after my individual work. So my conditioning was with you, and it was a win-win situation for all of us, because for me it was condition specific, for y'all it was getting better.
I mean, I remember you used to be running rounds with us for warm-up on the athletics field, but you used to be like the first one, and we used to all try to follow you or catch up to you.
Right.
But you were always the first one.
So yeah, I think even I agree with you on that. Like if a coach plays with you, I think it is more helpful. But when you go to the higher level and it gets a bit detailed, you need a specific coach who can just work on the team.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things other than skill also, like your planning, your defensive sets, your offensive sets, and player management, and everything gets into place. So it's kind of more detailed when you go on the higher level. But in the grassroots level, I think a coach playing with you is a good thing. I think it's the best way an athlete can learn and inspire.
Yeah.
Because then you know, right? Okay, if sir is telling us something, you have seen him do that, so you believe him.
Yeah.
But there were some seniors at my time also, they used to tell me, I did this, I used to do that. And then at the back of the mind, you were like, okay, this guy is kidding, I don't think so, he's done this. No way he's going to be doing this.
Yeah. Okay, but my last question would be, I know you're very passionate about India, and even I love the country and I want to see basketball growth. But do you see India anywhere on the global basketball map anytime soon or in the next few years? So right now, I think we lose very horribly when we play Asian Championships also, not just on the world level. So I think, do you see us at least being in the top 3 in Asia or somewhere there? Do you think we're going in the right direction?
As of now, I don't think we are heading in the right direction, because there are a lot of federation problems going on.
Yeah.
The BFI is into fights. We don't have a state federation in place as of now.
Yeah.
And like the new president who's come, he has a lot of ideas and everything, but I think we desperately, for a country to grow, like I told you, we need a league.
We need a professional league.
Professional league.
Everyone gets so surprised when I go to Spain and I tell them, no, there's no league, like you just play for your country. They're all very surprised, because I think all countries have at least a grassroots level league where people can grow and learn.
Right.
But it's not
like I told you, a league gets into a lot of exposure of training, of athletes training, and a lot of coaches get involved into it. Then the ultimate thing, in a sport, any sport you play, like everybody wants to have a financial stability, right?
Of course. I mean, that's you need.
So for that, like now also they started an academy, I guess, doing tie-ups with academies. I don't want to name any academies, but they are doing the tie-ups and everything. That's a great thing to do, grassroots level and everyone. But for the grassroots level kids, to encourage them and get them into playing, first you have to encourage their parents. Don't you feel that?
For sure.
And to convince a parent, you have to make that parent believe that there is a career out of basketball which you can make.
Yeah.
So for that, a professional league is very necessary. And the federation right now, what they do is they stop us and other athletes from playing in certain leagues which are going to happen and like which are trying to put on a league and trying to promote basketball. They may be trying to earn money also from it, of course, but that's a business model what they have.
I think sport is a business.
So it's a win-win situation for all athletes as well as them.
Yeah.
So why not let the federation give permission and let them play into others? We are not saying no to y'all that we are not going to play in your league.
Yeah.
If you all don't want us, that is a different thing. But we are not saying that we don't. We will play in all three leagues.
Exactly, it's possible.
Yeah, and it's exposure and everything. We'll give the equal amount of importance.
Yeah.
Of course, playing for the nation as well. But I think a professional league is very important. So till we have that, I don't think we stand any chance of getting into the top 10 also, or probably 8 also of the Asian countries.
For me, that's my goal in life. When I was a kid also, I had this goal that I hope at some point in life I'm able to play for India, but not just play, because I want to make India at least in the top 5 in Asia.
Exactly. If you are playing, like you need to have an impact.
Yeah, exactly.
Of not just going and then playing like random pickup games. You are not going there for a pickup game. Representing your country, so you want to
have a
your country to be somewhere on the map.
Exactly.
And help that way.
That's my goal.
That's a great goal. I hope you achieve it. But for that we need to have a league. And the league would help definitely, because like I told you, a lot of exposure, and parents also feel then ki of course career bana sakte isme. We can make a career out of it. So why not push our child and motivate them, because inspiring the parents is a task, in our country. So I think a professional league would help.
And now, like I explained to you before, the format where the last person on the podcast was Khushi, the sports psychologist, and she has left you a question which even I have not seen yet, but I'll read it out to you now. And as even I've not told you the question yet, but okay, so the question she left you is, what do you see the hardest challenge athletes face today, and how do you as a coach help them face these obstacles?
As of now, the hardest challenge I'm facing is Instagram and social media and whatnot. The kids, they have so many distractions these days. Playing games, online games that you play, PUBG, there are some more games also, and Dota and whatnot, and Instagram. Like the athletes now, I find it so challenging to train them, because their success and their motivation and their focus level is very short-lived. Because of the Instagram edit, they see someone doing it on Instagram and then they're like, oh wow, he makes like whatever he shoots he makes, but he hasn't seen what is behind that, how many shots that person took to make that one shot from center, probably not looking at the ring or from behind, like how many tries did he actually take to make that one shot.
Nothing on social media,
and it is edited. And they don't realize that in the crucial years of their coaching playing life, and then they realize it when they're 17-18.
When they're done with work hard.
So I think that is a thing, that it is very short-lived. Players are just coming and going fast. Like see your parents, they played for around like 20 years of basketball. I played for around 20 years and still playing. It's been 21 years I'm still playing. And nowadays athletes come, they play for 4 years and they're out. You don't see them in the picture.
But I think that's also, like you said, the parents also play a role in it. The parents of children in India need to understand some things, and be more open to sports, and believe that there is something out of sports in India. That also plays an aspect, because I think how so many people in my batch after the 10th grade or the 12th grade, they just stop playing.
Yeah, of course. We've had students like that. Like after 10th day or during 10th they stop pursuing basketball. They'll start moving towards their career. So of course, yes. So that is a challenge. But again, like I told you, you need to have a business model, or you need to generate money. Financial security is what everybody is working for. Like I was fortunate today, but let me be honest with you, at a point of time, even I had thought of quitting basketball.
You told me.
Doing some business, doing some job or something like that. I would have just killed my dream, and because at the end of the day I need food, shelter, taking care of my
comfort,
home. So that's the thing. So I find the challenge in probably mainly social media for nowadays kids. They are very short-lived careers, and their focus is quite less. They are not into the real world of what actually it takes, hard work. Because that's why when you come over, or there are some senior players who have actually trained under me, I love them to put those kids with y'all. So that they really know, this is the hard work you need to do. Look at this guy train. This is the way you're supposed to train. And what you're seeing on Instagram or social media and all, that is not true. That is edited. See how training is done, how hard this guy is working. So you're like a pure example, like you, Rajender and Yash and everyone. Like for kids, whenever y'all come, I put those kids who I think like who are potentials. This is the right way you need to learn. So that is a challenge. I hope so. And for tackling that, I don't think I have anything other than stopping them from doing that. Just like I try to let them know. Telling them. I speak to them about it. I try to be, example oriented, experience, like I told you, till you experience. Like I saying, you stop using that, try to be humble, you're not going to do it. But then that half court shot, when I make that guy work, so he takes 30-40 attempts and I'm just sitting there and you make. And then he realizes, oh shit, I took like 50 attempts to make this one shot. Which I saw in 10 seconds, and those 10 seconds inspired me so much that I thought that I'd shoot from here only. So I put it across that way, that experience helps learn.
Okay. And thank you so much for coming. But also one more thing, just can you leave a question for the next person? You can just write it down. You can write it after the podcast also.
Yes.
That will be something no one will see. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ojas. Always a pleasure. It's been always a pleasure to coach you. And I want to see you grow and achieve all your dreams of taking the country also on a higher level, and also playing pro basketball. Because I'll be the happiest, because one of my students who have actually trained from scratch, from nothing, and that guy goes and plays professional basketball, I'll be more than happy. But of course I'll miss you also. I missed you back then also when you had gone to Spain. Like I'm very closely bonded to my friends and my players and my students. So of course, and then I'll tell my kids also back home that I used to kick your ass.
I mean, it's not a lie.